Much like celebrities, YouTubers have quite busy lives, which makes it incredibly hard to stay on top of things. Thankfully, there's a solution for that: hiring another human being to do the stuff you don't want to do. Maybe that's not the best way to put it, but I mean, really that's what an assistant is for. Someone to do the things that you can't, or just say that you can't do. And as great as that may be, sometimes it can end up becoming a messy situation and lead to people being exposed, which is what a lot of former assistants are known to do. Oh boy. What is going on, homies? It's your boy, the Potato King, reclaiming his throne! Let me tell you guys, I am so happy to be back again. Welcome back! As you guys know, I have been on Top 10 Central lately. I also just came back from LA and I've been in quarantine, so I'm shooting from my house, but we're still coming at you guys with that content, baby! For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Jared Pepper Bronstein. I am the spiciest host in the game, and today we're talking about YouTubers that were exposed by their assistants. Before we get into it, let me know in the comments down below if you could ever see yourself having an assistant. As always, we'll be replying to some of your comments that you guys do not want to miss out on, because boy oh boy, if you know me. Starting us off, Alyssa Cardiff, Tana Mongeau's ex-assistant. Back in 2017, Tana went live on You Now, explaining how she fired her assistant and more or less treated her like gold. Turns out her assistant wasn't down for the lies and BS that Tana was spewing, so she made a 52.5-minute video titled Tana Mongeau Lied About Her Assistant, Proof. In the video, Alyssa played back Tana's live You Now video and called Tana out every time she lied or exaggerated the truth. For example, when Tana said she paid Alyssa ridiculous amounts of money to watch her dog, Alyssa corrected her and admitted she got paid $10 an hour. To some, 10 an hour may be a lot, but as a personal assistant, well, kind of like peanuts. Tana also started the video claiming to have fired Alyssa, which also wasn't the case, as Alyssa clarified that she had in fact quit. Another great example would be when Tana claimed Alyssa didn't check her mail or drop off her rent checks when Tana was out of town. Again, Alyssa clarifies that she did check her mail daily and was never told about any rent or lease checks, nor did she even know where Tana's landlord's office was. In a nutshell, the entire video is Alyssa fact-checking what Tana is saying in her live video, and to no surprise, a lot of it was false. But this was already 3 years ago, so I think it's safe to say both sides have most likely moved on. Next up, we got Drick and his alleged former assistant, Tommy McKissock, also known by his Twitter handle, Tommy Italiano. Back in October of 2019, Tommy tweeted out a handful of serious allegations against Hall, including Hall's racist casting process for dancers, his online bullying, purposely not paying people, as well as other forms of harassment. The tweets read, "I was Drick Hall's personal assistant for years, and I know every detail of his life, including deliberate non-payment to people, racism, types of assault, online bullying, exploitation, illegal business practices, the list goes on. P.S. I never signed NDA," end quote. Now another tweet claimed, I quote, "After Drick became friends with Taylor Swift, he said to me, Taylor's assistant would not be wearing a fitted hat or Jordans. I need you to start looking more white because you look too ethnic and ghetto. Actual quote, and no hat rule went into effect," end quote. And finally, the third tweet, does RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race know that Drick lied to producers and committed fraud to have one of his dancers he was dating to be on the show? You see, Danny Williams is from England and unable to work in the USA, so Drick used a PA named Danny to send the check to, end quote. Now, as you guys can see, these are some very serious allegations. Hall didn't respond immediately, but it appears the entire situation was settled outside of court. However, as recently as January 2020, after Hall was accused by another dancer and choreographer, known as Thom White, of not paying what he owed, Hall finally responded. I quote, "My fans have stood by me and they know my heart and my integrity and they know what type of person I am. They know that I would never intentionally do some of these things, any of these things that are being said about me. I will be more careful about who I will allow into my circle," end quote. Now, as I always say, guys, there's three sides to every story. In this case, it would be Tommy's, Drick's, and the truth. We may never know what actually did or didn't happen, but based on what I've seen, it seems like Drick is a good guy with good intentions, and people are trying to bring him down. Then again, if some of the allegations are true, well, then that changes everything and I stand corrected. And of course, before we finish this one, there is another assistant that has to be mentioned. Some of you may or may not remember the whole Jake Paul and his assistant accusing FaZe Banks of assaulting her at a club thing. For those of you who don't, quick recap here. It happened back in August of 2017. Jake made a video which included his assistant not only accusing FaZe of the assault, but also claiming he cheated on his girlfriend at the time, Alyssa Violet, on the same night. Interestingly enough, Jake seemed to have all the facts and details of the night down to a T, even though he wasn't actually there, which is, now that I think about it, it's probably not a good source. Seems like a big old game of broken telephone if you ask me. FaZe would make a video in response, and then it would all come together when Banks would drop another video interviewing a former Team 10 member, Max Beaumont, who pretty much left Team 10 to set the record straight. In the interview, Max confirms what actually happened. After admitting to go over to Banks' table and speaking with him amidst the FaZe and Team 10 beef, Max said FaZe was actually really nice and appreciative. Max then went on to say afterward, Meg, Jake's assistant, who was allegedly assaulted, told Max that Banks did clothesline her, but made it very clear it was an accident. What's even crazier is that Meg showed Max the bruise on her neck that night, which makes it evident Banks didn't cause it. A bruise wouldn't form that badly in the span of less than an hour, maybe it was 10 or 15 minutes after the situation happened. Now Max claims he didn't even realize it was an issue until after he saw Team 10's video, which has since been taken down. And although the two sides did make up and move on, Banks did claim he'd be taking the accusers to court, so it's safe to say that it's likely at some point they probably just settled. And there you guys have it for YouTubers that were exposed by their assistants. Now before we wrap this one up, we got some comments to reply to from the video, top 10 celebrities that brutally exposed other celebrities on social media. Daniela Roman said, please watch one of Tati's videos because she introduces herself on every single one. I know you were trying your best, but you were still saying her name wrong. Right. So I'm just gonna, you know what guys? There's two ways to say this girl's name. It's either, I'm gonna say woman. She's not a girl, she's a woman. Two ways to say her name. It's either Tati or Tati. There's no other possible way. So it's either Tati or Tati. There's no, it's Tati. No, it's not Tati because there's no D in her name. It's T-A-T-I, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Tati. 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 I don't know how else to say it, guys. I'm sorry. LA said, quoting me, tires are officially cut, and quote, oh no love, that said ties. So I have made this mistake so many goddamn times. I thought Drake Bell's tweet to Josh Peck was, tires are officially cut, and I was always like, that's a weird thing to say to somebody. Tires are cut. Like, does that mean the tires on your friendship car? Or the friendship bus? Like, I didn't get it. And then you guys told me it's ties, and then I looked again, and it makes a lot more sense. When ties are officially cut, I'm cutting ties, I'm moving on, I'm done with that person. Never heard of the term tires. B01225 said, I hope you never end up on one of these videos, Jared. Yeah, you see, I was thinking about that, and I was like, I don't, but then I was like, I kind of do, because it would mean I hit a level of success that I really am trying to achieve, but at the same time, they're pretty, I mean, for the most part, they're pretty, you know, like exposed or lied or, you know, so maybe I wouldn't want to be on this list. But maybe if it's like top 10 actors who are the best in the world, I don't know. Now, when we started off our video, I asked you guys to let me know if you could see yourself having an assistant. Personally, I want to say no, because even on like film sets, commercials, short films, TV shows, subtle brag there, you know, stuff that I've done in the past, like whenever the production assistants or people in general are like, oh, can I get you water? Can I get you coffee? Can I get you tea? I'm just like, hold on a second. I'm like, no, don't worry. And I don't do it in a rude way. I do it in a way of like, we're both human. We're all equal. Like, can I get you a water? Can I get you a coffee? Who am I that you have to run around getting me things? Again, I get it. It's one thing if I'm in makeup and they're like, can I get you a water? And it's like, I can't really get it myself. But I'm literally just sitting in like a trailer or on a chair. They're like, can I get you anything? I'm just like, can I get you anything? You're the one running around. Like, anyways, if I do ever have an assistant, I'll be really nice to them, I promise. I'll give them like a ton of money and a house or something. I don't know. So if you're my assistant, you know, good job. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. I've been your host, Jared Pepper Bronstein, and we'll see you in the next one.